In some countries, finding a wife is more like a business deal than a union based on love. The reality is, in many parts of the world, marriage is still shaped by customs, traditions, and economic circumstances that determine the lives of millions of women. Join us on a journey to discover how marriage becomes a commodity in these 10 countries. 1. India. India is a land of contrasts where ancient traditions and modernity intertwine in complex ways. Arranged marriage is still a common practice, especially in rural areas. Families negotiate marriages based on social status, religion, and, in many cases, dowry, which can be exorbitant. In some regions, a wedding can cost as little as $35, especially in poor communities, where families see marrying off their daughters as a way to ease financial burdens. However, the reality is more complex. Many women have no say in these decisions, and while they may remain married for life, it is not always a genuine choice. Social pressure to marry young and the lack of professional opportunities limit the independence of many Indian women. The country also struggles with gender issues, such as female infanticide and discrimination in education and employment. Although modernization and globalization have brought changes, inequalities persist. Some women see marriage to foreigners as a way to escape these restrictions and seek a freer and fairer life. 2. Philippines. The Philippines is known for being a popular destination for Western men seeking mail-order brides. Many women here seek foreign partners in hopes of a better life for themselves and their families. Poverty is widespread in many parts of the country, and marriage to a foreigner is often seen as a way out. Marriage agencies arrange meetings and marriages between Filipino women and foreign men, mainly from the United States and Europe. While these marriages may appear consensual, the power dynamic is often unequal, with women seeing marriage as their only chance to escape poverty. The costs for men interested in these women vary, but can include agency fees, plane tickets, and accommodation, reaching thousands of dollars. It is important to note that not all women who marry foreigners do so for economic reasons. Many seek genuine relationships and are attracted to the idea of living in a country with better opportunities. The reality, however, is that the lack of alternatives often forces them to make difficult decisions. 3. Egypt. In Egypt, temporary marriage, known as zawaj al-misyar, is a practice that allows men to marry young women for a limited period, usually for financial reasons. Although this type of marriage has religious and cultural roots, in practice it turns into an agreement where women are used and then abandoned. Temporary marriages usually last only as long as the man stays in the country, leaving women in a precarious position when the relationship ends. Women often find themselves divorced and without any financial or social support. This practice is more common in rural areas where poverty is high, and families consider these marriages a way to obtain some short-term income. The average dowry for these marriages is around $2,000, a sum that may seem substantial to struggling families. In the long term, however, the consequences for women are devastating. Many are left with children, without resources, and carrying a social stigma that makes it difficult for them to reintegrate into society. 4. Vietnam. Vietnam is another country where seeking marriage with foreigners has increased in recent decades. Vietnamese women are known for their dedication to family and work. They often shoulder the burden of taking care of the home and contributing financially. This responsibility and loyalty make them attractive to many Western men seeking stability in a relationship. The cost to meet and get to know a Vietnamese woman through marriage agencies or online dating sites can range from $800 to $2,000, depending on travel expenses and agency fees. Many women see marriage to a foreigner as a way to secure a better future, not only for themselves, but also for their families. In a country with a relatively low average income, the prospect of a life abroad is a strong motivation. Although these women are willing to work hard for their families, they often find themselves in situations where their loyalty and dedication are exploited. Stories of Vietnamese women marrying foreigners and then being abandoned or abused are not uncommon. However, many continue to see these unions as an opportunity to improve their lives. 5. South Korea. South Korea is facing a demographic crisis with one of the lowest birth rates in the world. As South Korean women increasingly focus on their careers and postpone or reject marriage, especially with local men, the number of marriages with foreigners has increased. South Korean men, especially in rural areas, are seeking foreign brides, often from countries like Vietnam or China, as local women are not interested in these traditional marriages. Conversely, some South Korean women are also seeking to marry foreigners, in search of a more equitable environment and opportunities they do not always find in their own country. The cost of meeting a foreign partner can be high, with website registration fees and travel expenses that can exceed $6,000. However, men and women are willing to invest in these relationships, seeking a better future, free from the social and cultural restrictions of South Korea. 6. Latvia. Latvia, a small Baltic country, has a significant gender imbalance in its population, with more women than men. This disparity, along with economic and social issues, has led many women to seek partners abroad. Despite progress in gender equality, Latvia still faces challenges such as domestic violence and the gender pay gap, prompting many women to seek better opportunities outside their country. The market for mail-order brides and marriages with foreigners is prevalent in Latvia. Latvian women, known for their height and education, are considered ideal wives by many Western men. Behind this image, however, are more complex realities. The pursuit of economic stability and security drives many women to opt for these marriages, despite the difficulties and risks they entail. 7. Malaysia. Malaysia is a multicultural country with a mix of Malay, Chinese, and Indian cultures. Despite experiencing economic growth, there are large disparities between rural and urban areas. Malaysian women often face traditional expectations that limit their personal and professional development, leading them to seek partners abroad. Marriages with foreigners are facilitated by agencies and online platforms, and the cost of meeting a Malaysian woman can vary greatly. Many of these women seek a more equitable and free life than they could have in their own country. Although these unions may appear voluntary, economic and social factors strongly influence these decisions. 8. Bulgaria. In Bulgaria, particularly within the Roma community, there is a unique and controversial tradition: the bride market. In this event, young women are presented to potential husbands and their families to negotiate their marriages. While this practice may seem archaic or even inhumane by modern standards, it is a deeply rooted tradition for this community. Marriages are negotiated based on the appearance and virginity of the women, and prices can range from $750 to $1,300. Despite the controversies, this tradition remains an essential part of the culture and way of life for many families within the Roma community, a way to preserve their values and customs. 9. China. China has been facing a severe gender imbalance since the implementation of the one-child policy, which led to a preference for boys. This has resulted in a significant shortage of women in the country, leading to an increase in the price of dowries in some regions. In rural areas where men have more difficulty finding partners, families have to pay considerable sums to secure a marriage. In some provinces, the price of a dowry can exceed $50,000, a financial burden that many rural families cannot afford. This system puts further pressure on women who are seen as a scarce and valuable resource. Furthermore, the label "shengnu," translated as leftover women, is used to describe women who do not marry before the age of 27, creating a social stigma that pushes many women to seek marriage abroad. This phenomenon has led to an increase in marriages between Chinese women and foreign men, who often find educated and culturally engaged partners in them. 10. Ukraine. Ukraine is another country where women seek to escape economic and social instability through marriage with foreigners. The political crisis and conflicts in the region have aggravated the situation, prompting many women to see marriage to a foreigner as an opportunity for safety and stability. Marriage agencies are very active in Ukraine, facilitating contact between Ukrainian women and men from around the world. The costs of these services can include agency fees, travel expenses, and accommodation, reaching thousands of dollars. However, many women are willing to take these risks in hopes of a better life abroad. The stereotype of the beautiful and devoted Ukrainian woman continues to attract many men. But it is crucial to recognize that behind these decisions are often factors such as need and lack of opportunity. The reality of many of these women is complex, and their decisions are driven by the desire to escape a difficult economic and social situation. In conclusion, it is essential to understand that the issue of international marriages and mail-order brides is much more complex than it seems. Behind each story, there are often difficult situations and decisions, made more out of necessity than free will. While the title of this video may be attention-grabbing, It is crucial to approach these issues with compassion and respect for the realities of the people affected. In these 10 countries, power dynamics, social pressure, and economic constraints influence the decisions of many women seeking a better life through marriage to foreigners. While some find the happiness and stability they desire, many others face challenges and difficulties in these relationships. What do you think? Do you believe these marriages can be a solution, or do they perpetuate a cycle of inequality and exploitation? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.